一直以来很想做一些访问，关于潮流时尚。
Let's know a little bit about yourself as a general background, and then we carry on.
My name's Annabelle Barton, originally from Birmingham. Initially I had quite an academic upbringing, but I decided kind of when I was going to university that I wanted to try something completely different. So we kind of went a creative route from there. But I've always had an interest in fashion. As someone who's 4'11", I've always had to have my clothes adjusted, and that's kind of separated me from my peers at school because they never had that issue. So that's kind of where my interest in fashion started.
Since when you start becoming like a fashion designer, and what other things that inspired you, if you would say?
Yeah, so at my final year at university I studied hair and makeup design, but it was quite styling based as well.
Yes.
So during my final major project I created a zine which was all centered around petite fashion and high fashion with representation of petite models. And researching into that really interests me and sparked my kind of business brain and fashion brain together. That's kind of where the idea of creating a petite brand came from initially.
I see. And what you mentioned earlier is quite interesting. You basically are coming from a very different background, or basically non-fashion background. And how does it work, or what do you think about being as a fashion designer now, and what makes you different than the others?
Initially when I came to JCA, what made me different was the lack of knowledge that I had of how to design, and my naivety in how to create things and how difficult certain things might be.
Yes.
So my designs were completely limitless and just exactly what I had in my mind. I think currently what makes me different is my adjustability elements of the designs, and kind of thinking about my audience a little bit more tailored towards petite women, but also like the Gen Z audience, so it's not necessarily for everybody.
Yes.
That's kind of what makes my designs different currently.
So about adjustability, what does it mean by that, if you can explain it a
Yes,
bit?
so all of the size A garments are adjustable at the hemlines and waistlines, so they'll fit a range of petite women from a size 12 down to a size 4.
JCA for a year. Did you study here for 1 year? Or?
Yes, so I studied the MA here for 1 year. So I came in initially very nervous, I would say. I didn't really have any knowledge, as you pointed out,
Yes.
of how to create a garment. So I would say the first term was really difficult for me because it was, they wanted me to create, but I had kind of like a block as well. Like I was like, what do? I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But then once I started learning how to sew and to pattern cut and to kind of visualize and actually make things, it made it a lot easier for me to like tell people what I'm going to create and show people how I'm going to create it. So since probably the second term onwards and into the final bit of the course, I was a little bit more creative and was able to create things.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, there's a time for learning as a project. And within JCA, I remember you did your last catwalk shows.
Yeah.
Was it with your label like size A?
Yeah, it was almost, we treated it as the launch of our brand.
I see.
So it was the launch of size 8 basically in October just gone.
Yes.
And we did a runway show. I had 6 models, and then we dressed 3 people at the event as well.
I got you. And then for size A, can you explain a little bit of the brand itself, and what is your vision for the brand?
Size A is a luxury petite brand. Initially it was just women's wear, but since then we've kind of developed into petite menswear as well, and kind of unisex designs. The future of the brand, I would just like to do bigger and better things than what I've done originally.
Yes.
And just keep improving and keep designing new things that people haven't seen before, but also catering to my Gen Z and petite audience still.
Would you consider the size A brand is having mainly for streetwear, or would that be the case for
I
streetwear
would say
mainly?
mainly the influence on my personal style is like that anyway, so it just comes through in the designs naturally.
Yes.
And I think the audience that it's tailored towards is like me,
Yes.
so that's kind of why the designs are the way they are.
Okay, another question is about celebrities. I understand from the last JCA show there are a couple of celebrities endorsed with your garments, and tell us a bit more about the experience, because it's it's quite shock, or quite
I would say it's a very privileged experience, especially the ones at the JCA show, because obviously they've never heard of you, they don't know who you are.
Yes.
They just look at your clothes and think they're nice, so that was kind of a really good bonus. We managed to dress Flossie, who's an influencer. We made her a custom outfit. Isabella Pappas, who's a Disney actress, also made her a custom outfit. And then Ella Air wore the Cladder set on next to Jimmy on the front row, so that was a real honour.
Of course. One person probably you also have to mention is about Chris Brown.
Yeah.
That's what I heard from the other source, that Chris Brown also is he's also interested in your garments. So how that happened again? Is it related to the JCA show?
It is related to the JCS show. I think luckily his UK stylist followed me and took an interest into the serpent set that we showed at the JCA show.
Right.
And that was kind of the end of the conversation from there. And then again, he messaged me when I did my second show and said that he would like it for Chris. Whether he was being serious or not, I don't actually know at the time, but I took it seriously and I just made it. And then very luckily, Chris wore it on the night that I was going anyway, so it was a surprise to me as well, but it was
So
great.
obviously he's interested and being serious about that. So and in the end, which garment or which piece of product he was in?
So we made the serpent set for him, but it was custom, so it had all his embroidery, his initials, etc. on the garment, and he wore the trousers during the show.
That's great then. So hopefully we'll see your next show very soon. When would that be for your next show?
I'm hoping it's going to be September, but we'll just
September.